Eons ago, humanity had fallen into despair and guilt, bringing them into a mirrored reality of not trusting themselves. And so they looked outside themselves for leadership. The universe answered, "As what we ask for, we shall receive." And so the Anunnaki, who fought the Palladians to be on Earth and in control of the humans, won the war and took over humanity. They then taught humanity to live in a physical world, but also used us to mine and forge for gold. This was because on their own home planet, they had to maintain an atmosphere by infusing it with monotonic gold, which is gold transformed into a white powder called ormus or mana. This white powder held important frequency values that allowed their planet to maintain energy, and it also gave them the ability to create their spacecrafts and much more. This precious gold can also interact with the Anunnaki DNA and promote longevity and healing by baking it into bread or manna for the pharaohs to eat. It also allowed them to open up to other realms, so they could talk to ancestors or souls holding wisdom, as 44% of the gold alchemized into another dimension when transforming into powder. Being that the Anunnaki were very physical beings, the only way to connect to source energy was to look for physical evidence outside of themselves. But humans had this ability within them. When they were in balance, they could enter the Brahma cave. This opened up their pineal gland, releasing DMT into their physical body, giving them the edge over the Anunnaki. So, the plan was to keep humanity under control by igniting fear into our consciousness and pretending the Anunnaki were gods. This was easy because humanity had already lost themselves to guilt and doubting themselves after the fall of Atlantis. Thus we became a reflection of each other's lack of inner power as humanity looked outside themselves for guidance and the Anunnaki looked to control all outside of themselves. Earth was a valuable win for the Anunnaki because it created a lot of gold. By the end of enslaving and programming humanity, we were completely fixated by gold, knowing of its worth but not of its alchemized magical properties. The Anunnaki literally bred humans of smaller but sturdier builds, now known as dwarves, because of their robustness to be able to handle such difficult mining climates, giving rise to the story of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs going to work. There's way more to this fairy tale. Humanity's fixation with the gold is now embedded in the psyche of all of us. And so we now feel that gold is worth more than anything else, which created the first physical form of abundance, being that it could be exchanged for items of survival. But now that we know of this value to the Anunnaki, we should be able to free ourselves of the program and see the value of gold at its monotonic value, a pure spark of consciousness that could help others return back to the source of oneness. As humanity already possesses the ability by balancing our feminine and masculine qualities to work together and open portals within to access energy, we could literally help others return home. Because in returning to our connection as one, we can share our feelings through this love for all. Thus, there would be no need to fear anyone ever again. And that is way more important than any gold.